We're now joined by Eric Galko, East-West Shrine Bowl, and of course runs that All-Star game. Hell, is that an East-West Shrine Bowl helmet behind you? There it is.
Yes, sir, it is. And an XFL helmet back there from my previous job before that. So good to talk to you, David. How you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing well. Craig Smoke with me is too. Eric, thank you very much for being a part of it. Even though you are locked in with that All-Star game, I know you're also incredibly locked in with the talent that is now available for the upcoming NFL draft. Did anything in particular out of the combine, and there might have been 50 stories, but were there 4 or 5 in particular that interest you or caught your attention the most?
You know, I'll start with the guy that was at the Shrine Bowl this year, and that's Shedeur Sanders. I think he ended up being a very substantial part of the discussion for the combine. I think for the wrong reasons. I think Shedeur's experience, the fact that his father and all the people that his family has been around, from Roger Goodell to a lot of great NFL Hall of Famers, Shedeur just have such a unique perspective on what the NFL life is going to be like that I think I say disarming to people who are used to a lot of players who have no idea what the NFL is like. Shedeur knows a lot about it. And I think the narrative on Shedeur was discouraging to hear because I've gotten to know him quite a bit too, and know the kind of person he is, the leader he is, the genuine, kind person that he is, the player that wants to be great too. So that was a storyline that I didn't love from the NFL Combine, but it was great to see guys. Texas had a lot of players who ran really fast. Marcus Golden, he was a top storyline. The offensive line, it's of course going to be an area that teams want to find the top part of the drafts too. It's a really strong defensive tackle class. So talking with NFL personnel about how those board stacking on the combine really matters too. A lot of maybe board stacking discussions I had with NFL personnel, but certainly the quarterbacks took the stage at the combine as far as narratives go.
Eric, in terms of Colorado, obviously Shedeur gets a lot of the attention, as does Travis Hunter. What are your thoughts on a guy like a Jimmy Horn Jr.?
I think the easy report and the first thing you say about Jimmy Horn Jr. is that he's incredibly fast. And I think he showed the combine, the low 4.4 speed. I think at Colorado Pro Day, he has cracked 4.2 in his life too. So the speed's there as well. But I think what kind of got lost a little bit because he dealt with some injuries this year at Colorado, and they just had so much receiver talent in that unit that people didn't appreciate how smooth he is. And talking with NFL personnel, like the gauntlet drill, which is talked about by NFL personnel, but his gauntlet drill especially was like, man, did you see how smooth he caught the ball, worked in and out? I thought the whole drill workout, hey, it was really special as well too. So he was already going to be likely a draft pick because of his speed, his burst in the open field. But I think NFL teams now see him as, hey, this guy could play for us as a rookie, a really smooth route run. I think he's a guaranteed draft pick. Now it's a matter of, do teams feel like he could be right away as a rookie? Because if so, the top 4 or 5 rounds seems very possible.
Of the quarterbacks, and you hear about Cam Ward and Craig brings up Shedeur, who is more likely, because of the run that's going to be made, that somebody's going to panic, even if there's who is most likely going to move into the first round that right now is not thought to be first round?
You know, I think there's two guys that really feel like they have a good chance to be first round picks, maybe aren't there right now. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. It'd be pretty shocking if those two guys weren't not only first round picks, but one of the first 4 or 5 picks of the NFL draft. But a couple guys all throughout there, because I think to your point, one's going to emerge at least as a first round pick. Tyler Shuck at Louisville. His kind of concerns are he's a little bit older. He's had a lot of injury stuff, but he's one of the more natural talented passers in this quarterback class. Jackson Dart at Ole Miss, kind of looked at as a little bit of a developmental guy. He's very young, a lot of tools to develop, but maybe needs a year to kind of redshirt in the NFL before he's ready. That's why maybe he's not a slam dunk first round pick. Kyle McCord at Syracuse. Hey, if he's at Ohio State and he wins a national championship there, I think he's a top 10 overall pick. So teams are wondering kind of is there any disconnect there too, or what's his limitations, but he's a guy that could slide in there. And then Quinn Ewers at Texas, dealt with a lot of injuries this year at Texas. People didn't really know that before the combine. They're learning it since, but talking NFL personnel, and I was on the field during the NFL combine throwing session. Quinn Ewers was the best thrower of the football at the combine in just that throwing session. I think NFL teams saw maybe a glimpse of what a non-injured Quinn Ewers can really be like. So those are the 4 guys, and I think kind of what you alluded to, I think at least one of those guys ends up going in round 1.
Is the running back position viewed differently now than it was a couple of years ago because of what we've just seen with the Bijan Robinsons of the world, but also a guy coming in with a record-breaking contract in Saquon Barkley? I know those guys are like one of ones, but has the view of the running back position shifted again here as of late?
You know, I think it should. To your point, I think the Saquon Barkley shows that a philosophy that I've always felt, which is you probably shouldn't start putting these guys into boxes and say, hey, we need two playmakers on our offense. And that may be a tight end for some teams, maybe a receiver for some teams. For the Eagles, it was Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, right? And they were the two playmakers. And worrying about how much money they're making relative to their position and the value and the scarcity, that's important and thoughtful. But I think sometimes you kind of overlook that, man, you know what? Adding Ashton Jeanty to our offense is going to make us pretty awesome. Or adding Quishon Junkins or Travion Henderson or Marion Hampton is going to make our offense a lot better. And he'll be our first or second or at worst third best player in our offense too. So I think the narrative's shifting a little bit. And certainly there's always going to be a value at running back diminished because there's so many good guys coming out of college. That's really the reason why I probably agree with NFL clubs on. But I think no doubt teams are seeing that, hey, adding a big time running back, even if it's a veteran like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, or adding an early round rookie, I think it helps your offense quite a bit. I think teams are going to maybe be a little more aggressive in taking running backs in the top 2 rounds than they have recently.
All right, so RG3 joined us last Friday, and we brought up the 40, and, of course, some guys that went real low with their numbers, and he, I think, ended up with a 4.34, whatever it might have been. He said that what we may not understand, and you would, is how much of a grind it is before they even run their 40 at the combine, that they could be emotionally and or physically not gassed but worn out before they even do that.
Ticket Club is a unique platform that aims to revolutionize the way consumers purchase event tickets. It primarily functions as a membership-based ticketing platform, offering a wide array of tickets to concerts, sporting events, theater shows, and other live entertainment events. The main distinction of Ticket Club from other ticketing platforms is its commitment to delivering tickets with no service fees. Features and benefits of Ticket Club. One of the most distinctive features of Ticket Club is the absence of service fees. Most ticketing platforms charge service fees, which can elevate the cost of the ticket significantly. However, with Ticket Club, the price you see is the price you pay. This translates to substantial savings, especially for frequent ticket buyers. Ticket Club also offers a diverse selection of event tickets. From Broadway shows and music concerts to NFL games and comedy shows, Ticket Club has it all. This diversity makes it an ideal ticketing platform for all entertainment lovers. Reliability and pricing. When it comes to reliability, Ticket Club does not disappoint. The platform guarantees the delivery of authentic tickets on time for the event. In the rare case that a problem arises, the company promises to refund 100% of the purchase price. Ticket Club operates on a membership basis. Non-members can still purchase tickets, but they are subject to small service fees. To enjoy the no service fees benefit, one can join as a member at a fee of $49.99 per year. However, certain groups, such as military personnel and first responders, can receive free memberships as a thank you for their service. Customer support. Customer support is a critical aspect of any business, and Ticket Club excels in this area. The platform provides comprehensive customer support to ensure all queries and issues are handled in a timely and professional manner. Customers can reach out via phone or email, and the Help Center on their website offers answers to frequently asked questions. Unique features and benefits. In addition to the no service fees feature, Ticket Club has a unique feature called the Ticket Club Premier program. This allows members to earn points on their purchases, which can be redeemed for discounts on future purchases. This feature adds to the overall value provided by the platform and encourages customer loyalty. In conclusion, the introduction to Ticket Club reveals a platform that is designed with the customer in mind. The no service fees policy, diverse event selection, reliability, competitive pricing, and excellent customer support make Ticket Club an appealing choice for purchasing event tickets. Whether you're a sports fanatic, a theater enthusiast, or a concert goer, Ticket Club is your reliable partner for event tickets.
100%. And I think even before they made the combine testing more later at night for the TV product, which I think makes sense to defend the NFL. I think having this be more in prime time is a good thing for the game, good thing for these players, good thing for all of that. But the combine is, in terms of schedule for the players, is not my favorite. You know, I run the East West Shrine Bowl, and my focus is on player health and wellness all week long. So these guys stay healthy, they have a good time, and they play well. Having these guys up till 11 o'clock at night, grabbing some food, then having interviews throughout the day, having a 7-hour medical process, which that number is accurate, takes about 6-7 hours for a group to do all their medical stuff. It gets exhausting. And talking to guys on the field at the combine, you know, hearing guys saying, I had to get a cup of coffee before this, or I'm a little bit tired, but I feel good. That's not the ideal conditions to be testing and having those numbers, which now we look at as iconic numbers of this is your Jimmy Horn's a 4.41 guy forever, maybe. And that's not fair if he's not at 100%. So that's why we see a lot of guys opting out of the combine. I do hope the combine, the NFL are able to kind of fix that a little bit to have these guys feel great, because if the guys feel good, they'll run and run better. But I think it's a very good point. That's why guys that run in the low 4.3s or high 4.2s, it's really, really impressive. That's why a lot of guys will run again at the NFL, at the pro day. I think some people kind of diminish the pro day sometimes. Please don't. The pro day is when they're really going to be at their best. That may be their true time in the end of the day.
It seemed like Iowa State had some good representation there at the Combine. Darian Porter and Jalen Knoll in particular. I know there's also, Jaden Higgins is a part of their grouping as well, among others. But Matt Campbell with a couple of guys, if not more, that could be making a big impact, Eric. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, Darian Porter was well known as an elite tester coming into the year, and I think he's going to end up going about where he should go in terms of, hey, this guy's a second, third round pick, talent-wise. He may need a year to kind of develop. He's a guy to kind of really emerge this offseason for Iowa State. Maybe he needs a year of refinement. He's going to be an ace special teamer tomorrow in the NFL. But that testing is impressive and was expected by people there as well, too. So happy for Darian. And I think Jaden Higgins, Jalen Knoll, probably been underappreciated this entire season, and maybe as in terms of being draft prospects, too, because Knoll was always going to test really well, had a fantastic NFL combine. He was already going to be a top 100 pick. He solidified being probably a top 70 pick. And I love Jaden Higgins. I think Jaden Higgins has a chance to be a first-round pick in this draft. I think he's an outstanding outside receiver, a big-body guy, can win downfield, can win on the perimeter, made a lot of big catches for Iowa State this year in crunch time, too. I think he's a guy that is a top 32 player in this draft class, and I think Jalen Knoll is probably a top 50 guy. And even a pretty good receiving class, we might see some guys not go top 10, but a good bit go in the top 70. I think Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll will be probably the first 7 or 8 receivers off the board.
Conyers at Tech had a big week, didn't he?
Absolutely. He's a guy that transferred from Arizona State to Texas Tech and kind of got forgotten about after having a really good early start to his career, but special person, got a chance to know him quite well at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and really gregarious, great personality, like an awesome person to hang out with, and an immensely talented player. Had one of, if not the best week of any tight end at the Shrine Bowl, and then followed it up now with an elite NFL combine. This is a really special talent that's really showed in the draft process. And you guys talk to Joey McGuire or James Blanchard at Texas Tech, they'll rave about Conyers as a person and as a player too. And it's a strong tight end class. People like it quite a bit too. But after those first 4 or 5, I think Conyers may be a surprising guy that can go maybe top 100, but if not, he won't last long on the 3rd day of the NFL draft.
Eric, and this is kind of off the top of my head question, but do you remember somebody who had a terrible combine who made up for it with pro days and everything after that still saved where they would have been originally in the draft?
That's a good question, and no name pops out in particular too, but I think there's unfortunately stories that didn't happen, right? Where a guy had a tough combine for reasons that we may not know, and they go later than they should, and then they have many great players as well too. So, guys like Jarvis Landry ran a 4.6 at the NFL combine, right? And he fell to being a 3rd round pick when he should have been a first, 2nd round pick. And I think in hindsight, Jarvis Landry's career says he should have been a 1st round pick too. Mm-hmm. So I think the combination of guys that may not test well, sometimes that can really help out the smart teams, because those guys go a bit later too. But I think a lot of players, thankfully, are able to kind of recover at pro day. And that's why I always tell people that, hey, even though pro day feels almost secondary, it's a really, really important metric to consider for these guys.
Well, I got to ask you, because there's been somebody that's worked with various all-star games that is now a part of a college football program. Has that ever been something you'd be interested in, and have you ever been contacted?
I have been contacted, and I think the changing level of college football is fascinating and exciting, and I think it's really been interesting to hear and great to talk to college coaches and people in that industry to kind of learn about how they view it going. We all think we have an idea of what it is, but some teams want to build things in terms of focus on high school and a little bit of portal. Some teams want to do more portal. Some teams want to fleece their staff. Some teams want to be efficient. It's been great to kind of learn from a lot of great college coaches and college ADs and talk to them myself and learn what they want as well too. Really happy for Jim Nagy. I'll miss competing against him at the Senior Bowl when he was down there, and he and I overlapped for the last 4 years too. But he's a great hire for Oklahoma, and I think they're lucky to have him, because in this job and in his job, he had a chance to meet with a lot of people, whether it's college head coaches, NFL GMs, agents, etc. That wealth of experience really serves people like him and people like myself well, and I think he's doing a great job at Oklahoma too. But no doubt, NFL college teams are looking for NFL people, maybe unique people, to kind of build this new front office of college football. And I think there's more changes coming for sure in the future of college athletics.
Has it been any different working with athletes? Have you noticed a change in that now they're making money before they even get to you, right? And in some cases making really, really good money, whereas before, $500 handshakes and the like were going on. Has that turned into any difference in the guys you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis from your end?
100%. I think for one, guys still in college, these players are able to better understand and articulate their value and where they want to get better, right? No longer can college just say, come here, here's a bag, and come to this school too. They've got to really show value monetarily, but also, hey, tell me how I fit in. And I think the power that these athletes have now to be empowered because they're not worried financially as much as they used to be. 7-8 years ago, a guy was in college and he was betting everything on making the NFL. Now in college, you can make six figures easily at a Power 5 program, and you can be okay for the rest of your life after that, if not two. So it gives a lot of players a lot more financial stability, and they can make their own decisions. And I think for the draft process, I got to see with Cam Ward last year, who I knew very well for the last couple of years, and his family. And he used his year at Miami, that offseason going into it, to say, okay, what do I need to do to get ready for the NFL draft process, which was 12 months away, right? Working with private coaches, doing interview prep, talking to people, getting information. I think the fact of NIL, the portal allowing these guys to be in good situations, and the fact that these guys are able to kind of stay in school a bit longer allows these guys to take a full year to get ready for the NFL. So no doubt, compared to 4 or 5 years ago, across the board, players are more well-equipped, more prepared, and understand what the NFL is like more than ever because of NIL, the portal, and guys having extra eligibility too. So it's changed. And I think NFL teams, we should see the hit rate on guys, on NFL teams getting draft picks right, skyrocket from last year and the next couple of years too, because these guys are really well prepared for the NFL.
We brought up quarterbacks, and Bill Parcells, back in the day, had a deal where he wanted his quarterbacks, if he was going to draft somebody, to be a senior, which back then more of them were, 30 starts and had won 75% of those starts. Is that possible as much anymore in this day and age of where things are in college football? Does that still work to this day, or is that way too old school?
No, I think it makes sense. And I think what the heart of that thesis is you want guys who have seen a lot and are experienced, right? And I think that's one thing that maybe for a while their NFL clubs, whether it's Trey Lance or Mitch Trubisky, teams kind of saying, hey, we'll bet on talent and develop these guys. And there's something to be said for just getting reps. I learned a lot from getting a chance to work with Brock Purdy and having him, make a small part of his journey at the East-West Shrine Bowl and talking with Brock and reviewing it. And especially in hindsight, okay, what maybe I not even appreciate as much as I should have about Brock Purdy? It's that Brock had multiple offenses he ran in college, lost some games, made some mistakes, learned from those mistakes too. And, I was talking to Jordan Palmer, private QB coach, and even John Beck as well about the same topic of, hey, these guys need to have adversity at some point, because if you have adversity before the NFL, when that adversity hits in the NFL, it's going to take a lot out of you. And I think the guys that have gone through a lot, whether it's tough games, an injury, a coaching change, a losing season, whatever, having that adversity or having those challenges in college really allow you for the NFL to be prepared. Sam Darnold had some adversity in college, but his adversity came in the NFL, and thankfully he's made a great career afterwards. But having guys that have down slopes or downward career in college can make you a better player. Bo Nix, a great example of that. Had to transfer from Auburn to Oregon, had to learn a whole new system, and his certainly meets that threshold of 75% wins and 30-plus starts, and he's able to make the NFL transition much, much easier too. So the why behind that theory, I think, makes a lot of sense. Maybe a little bit different now, to your point, but the why is still really, really important in quarterback evaluation.
Eric, do you go to some of whatever's available now with spring, and we don't know if there's spring practices. Of course, the games are starting to be minimized, but you already have another game to get ready for. You have an all-star game to prep for in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. Are you like a coach who looks at his too deep and you have to fill the blanks in again? Are you already doing that now?
I'm looking right now at our quarterback board for next year on this whiteboard in front of me too. So no, we've got a good sense, and it helps a lot of these guys. Thankfully, the fact that juniors are allowed at all-star games, one of the huge benefits is that agents and players and their families will kind of reach out and use the all-star game as a, hey, if he came out, where do you think he'd go? So we have a good sense for a lot of these guys, not just from an evaluation standpoint, but also personally too. And I think next year's quarterback class is going to be probably a little more top heavy than this year's class for sure too. But no doubt we've got a great staff and a great team of young rising scouts, as well as a lot of former experienced NFL scouts on our staff. And we'll kind of probably finish our initial big board for next year's draft before this year's draft even happens. So we're certainly far ahead too. In the 2026 Shrine Bowl, the 101st Shrine Bowl is coming around in about 11 months now, but we'll be ready to go.
Proud of what you've done. Appreciate it. Eric Galko has been with us, and I had Eric on a long time ago. And from the East-West Shrine Bowl, he runs that baby and a part of our show today.